being, and it's shown up. And I didn't recognize it at first.
That
But
can
it's
happen.
Yeah, but it's making a believer out of me. Second step. Conceiving, believing, achieving.
Somebody would like to have an intimate relationship with me that creeps me out.
Mm. Yeah. Your heart knows better.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I made some swift moves the past 2 years that I shouldn't have made. And so I'm in a kind of a stuck position at the moment.
Mm. Is there a choice to be made?
Yeah, well, I've put feelers. I'm making strides to remove myself from the situation.
Yeah.
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 So I put in applications to move. I'm just waiting on confirmation.
Yeah. If you need support around that, Mona, don't hesitate to ask, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Yep. That's part of what's been blowing me away about my experience here, my intimacy experience, is that it's supportive on many levels in ways that I've never experienced before. So because I've been receiving that support, I can share it. Because it's multiplied inside my heart. I have extra.
Do they know the work that you're doing, not only for yourself, but that you're interested in for others as well?
Oh, yes.
And are they supportive of that?
Oh, yes.
That's a big help.
Oh, that's everything.
Because if they don't understand the work, that can leave you feeling isolated in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that person really wants to explore the depths of all that with me. So
Well, that is awesome. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, that's where the wow comes from. It's like, my heart just manifested that. And I didn't even know that's what I wanted.
Oh, but your heart did.
Exactly.
Your heart
That's
not only
exactly
knew that's
my
what you
point.
wanted, but your heart knew it's what you needed.
Yep. Needed and wanted and desired.
Because that person will be able to say, hey, are you sure that's not your ego talking to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll be able to accept that in a way that your ego won't go, who's she
Yeah.
talking to?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, somebody else that doesn't know the work, if they said that, your ego would be going, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. 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 My heart has embraced it big time. You know, despite being tentative through experiences of heartbreak. This person is a shelter, or is a place of refuge and safety. And I know I can trust that. My heart knows that it's authentic, genuine, unique, real. And it's really heart and soul centered.
Yeah.
There,
The,
yeah.
and the heart knew how to get it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's the amazing
How to
part.
attract it.
Mhm.
And it's not that fake excited attraction that goes away after
Right.
those things
Yeah.
show up that go, oh, that didn't show up in the beginning.
Well, yeah, that part is there too. Like it's been on a number of levels right from the beginning. Kind of like the full meal deal.
And you want to touch it and see if it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or pinch
Well, yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, that's the tentative. Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, I've been pinching myself a number of times. I'm going like, wow, is this really what my heart wants? Is this really have I attracted what my heart longs for? Yeah. And I know I have. Oh, my heart has done its work. Pretty magical too. Miraculous, I guess you could use that word. So thank you, all of you, for exploring my true choice with me. I choose living the desires of my heart. And it's
Jesse, do
coming
you have
true.
anything? Sorry, Craig.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Mona.
Jesse, do you have anything to add to this today?
It's just like it's been a year of sitting in that choice.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I honor that.
Well, and I honor the impatience around that too.
Mm. And the unknown, the unexpected. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah, it might have been partly due to the impatience that I didn't recognize it right away. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Could be.
Well, what would that? Yeah, we'll say that it worked out just the way that it had to.
Yeah.
But we don't
Perfect
say that in
time,
the
perfect
moment.
order.
But we don't say that in the moment.
Yeah. But as we see it looking back, I'm getting more aware and more attentive to other things that might have shown up already that I missed as well.
Yes.
Clarity of vision, perspective.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
We
And,
always do and always will. Because it's not like we're ever fully present.
Yeah. That's something that is learned apparently.
A lifetime practice.
Yeah. Lifelong learning.
Too many of us have been going the wrong direction for too long.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you. I didn't mean to sneeze on you.
I didn't get any on me.
No, I miss me too.
Thank you.
But I
I
felt
do.
it.
I have you ever heard of the sun sneeze?
Yes.
I have sun sneezes. I do sun sneezes.
Yeah.
Yep, me too. It'll hit me every now and again. Not all the time.
And it's actually a DNA trait.
Oh. I get sneezing fits every once in a while that just kind of come up on me. Like I'll sneeze like 5 or 10 times in a row. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. And then there'll be nothing for days. It's weird.
So it's like this isn't the only desire of your heart.
No. We're just working on the tip of the iceberg.
And it's
Yeah.
one cylinder, it's one bucket.
Yeah, I'm just beginning to learn the truth of my heart that's hidden deep inside.
Mm.
And that truth was drawn out by another person and by my own desire to express it.
Mm.
That's the magical part about it. Is it's better together.
Most of the world that we do is a co-creation.
Yeah. Well, it always requires both the masculine and feminine energies, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
Both
true.
both internally and externally.
mhm.
Yeah,
Literally and physically.
yeah, exactly. And so as my internal balance manifests itself, the external does as well. The internal balance attracts the external balance.
That's the dignity, the integrity, and the honor to sit in the tension,
Yeah,
to live in it, to live in those moments that it has to. And I will talk about the tough times. Those tough times is the tension for the good ones, for the
yeah,
coming good ones. It's the readjustment.
yeah. The tension is from the opposition that's inherent in those two energies. There's a tension there. But when they combine, you find that they're very complementary. They create something new together.
As in a storyline that is already written. It just
Yeah.
depends on which way you're facing it. Which way you proceeding. You can either be looking forward, anticipating, wondering, flowing with it on that little storyline, or looking backwards, running away from it, fighting it, resisting it, trying to do something else.
Yeah,
That's the tension storyline of our lives.
yeah, and whether we focus on the opposition and the tension or focus on the complementary, the combination.
It's how we focus on it is what matters.
Yeah. Which goes back to awareness and attention. It's like this is a new kind of attention that's unfolding inside my awareness.
And you knew a relationship had to be a certain way. That was before, right? You only knew it could be one way or had to be one way,
Right.
or needed to be
Right.
this way. And you did that you built a lot of tension into that for a long time, even though your heart was saying, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. There's something
Yes.
more.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything had to fall apart.
Everything else had to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's the tension. All that built up over the years, over the lifetime, expectations, walls around the heart, not allowing, Yeah. Mhm.
role playing.
Yeah.
Things that we're identified with.
Just so you could get to where you needed to be.
Exactly.
So the harder it is, the sweeter it'll be.
Yeah. Bird's eye view. That's very wise.
And this may not be the last one.
Oh, it's definitely not the last one. There's so much more here. So much more that I couldn't have imagined. Mm.
That is the hardest part, when we don't want anything bad to happen to us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's that tentative that I was talking about. The
Does it have
perception.
to be bad, or could it be a challenge?
Well, it's a when you're coming from an experience of a broken heart, it's this is dangerous territory to even approach, let alone play in. It feels dangerous. It feels threatening in a way. Or I should say past
More
tense.
like
It felt threatening.
hopeless.
Well,
Broken.
I
Maybe
can,
not for
yeah,
you,
I can,
but a
I can
broken
see
heart.
that. Yeah, I can see that. It didn't. Yeah, yeah. I wasn't really in a state of hopelessness, but and I'm not sure. I'm not sure why, but I was tentative around it. I was cautious. I was, I was protecting my heart because it was broken.
Just like you did when you were a child and were putting up the walls.
Exactly.
So I agree, Mona. Whether it's a challenge or bad, I said I agree. Like, the focus matters, whether it's a challenge or a bad or hard times or whatever we want to label it. However we label it is how we are seeing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The
that's
label
what
reveals.
gets us stuck. Yeah, that's where people
Yeah.
get stuck. That's where we stick ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. It
Not
looks like
seeing it as, let's say, an opportunity.
looks like a mountain instead of a boulder.
And it can always be a mountain. It's just whether you're excited to go through over it or not.
Yeah. The challenge is also an adventure.
For some, it can be.
Depends how you look at it.
That's right. And because we're looking at what do we want and we're looking at what we don't want. That's all that life is trying to reveal.
Yeah. And apparently this one is one that I was prepared for. And I wasn't aware of that either.
Didn't realize how much work you've done, did you?
No, I didn't. And the thing is, that other person was prepared for it too. You know, most
Yeah.
of that unconsciously on my side and her side.
What word do we choose to focus our being on today?
Here's the phrase that's come to me. Engage with your heart.
Okay.
Permission to engage with your heart.
So it has me think of awareness of it, awareness. So awareness helps me measure just as a starting position.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity. How much, so I ask the question, how much am I living the desires of my heart?
Yeah. And
then
for
I
me, it was about
listen
allowing
to
myself to explore that, to explore my
Yes.
heart and what's in there.
Yes. That's what the measure helps with too.
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah.
for me.
And someone else wanted to explore that with me. That's the part that astounds me. Mm.
Gentlemen, I need to go. I have to take a shower and I'm sure y'all don't want to go with me.
Thanks, Mona.
Big love, Mona.
Have a
Even if
great
I'm
day.
not on camera, I'm still sure you don't want to go there. I will talk to you later.
Don't
Bye,
forget to
Mona.
listen to the voice in the shower.
Okay, I won't.
That's where mine first showed up.
Okay, I will talk to you
Okay.
later. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Bless you, Mona.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
I really appreciate Mona being here to participate in this exploration this morning.
Mhm. Balance out the energies a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know she was blessed by it too. So
Yeah. No. You You have proof, you are a demonstration of it. What would you guide people into as they begin to explore the desires of their hearts? What would you tell yourself a year ago?
I would say, besides making the choice to live in the desires of my heart, besides that, I would say make a conscious choice to contemplate what that could mean. Like expose it to potential, expose it to all the potential there is, and allow the potential to speak to it. Allow the potential to express itself. And I would say also because it will. Potential will express itself.
It unfolds
Yes.
in the focus.
Yeah. And anticipate it. Anticipate its expression, whatever that might be.
Conceive, believe, achieve.
Yeah.
So you conceived it as, oh, desires of my heart.
Yeah. Which
Wow,
incidentally is still a big question mark.
Wait, what could that be? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And allowing it to define itself.
Mhm.
I'll allow it to answer the question however it sees fit.
Patiently.
Yeah. Well, that's the other. That's been a challenge too. But it's
Not in the way
been a good tension.
Not the way you think you want it to go.
Right.
Because the way we think we want it to go is more like what it's looked like in the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah. See, I've had material visions of what that might be. And the material visions are limited. Or my material visions that I kind of expected were actually limiting. We're limiting the potential. Because it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what she might look like or present like. Because this is a heart thing. That's that's intangible. Hmm. You know, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually comfortable there. Just dwelling in the sensory experience of it all, the multi-sensory experience of it all. And that includes physical. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's cosmical all at the same time. It's multi-dimensional. This is very new to me, in case you haven't figured that out yet. I'm grasping for words to describe it. That's my heart space.
So day 4 of infinite consciousness. All that
Mhm.
is, has been, and will be. That I am, you are, we are genius, full of greatness, to expose our gifts. And one way to find, discover, live into our genius is to live the desires of our heart.
Yes, and inside there, we're both everything and nothing at the same time.
So explain what that means so other people can go deeper with it.
I don't know that that's the best way I can explain it, but just give me a second. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, but we were talking about intimacy. And intimacy to me is about crawling inside another and being enveloped inside another while they crawl into you and are enveloped by you. there's a mutual interpenetration that goes on there. It's like, and that's a masculine, feminine a balance of energy is what that is. And while you're inside that, the lines between you, the lines between me and other kind of disappear. You can't tell where I end and you start, where you end and I start. You can't, that difference dissolves when you're in communion. And that's what I'm beginning to mean by being everything and nothing at the same time. So yeah, being everything and nothing, both everything and nothing at the same time.
Thank you, Craig. I think as we're working, seeing like the hearts, like the desire of our hearts, it's looking at both what it could be to experience what it could be.
Morning.
And what it couldn't be, what it isn't.
Yeah.
That's what is and isn't. So good morning, Ian. Welcome.
Hi. Morning.
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Craig.
Great to hear you. Great to be with you. Missed you.
I missed you too. Mm.
Yes, we have a shaman in the house today. Welcome, Ian.
Mm.
Your heart knows what we're talking about from direct experience.
So we are in a day 4 of helping, exposing, bringing forth the infinite consciousness that we are, the love that we are, the awareness of our genius, the awareness to our gifts, the awareness of our greatness, attention to our desires of our heart, and how to look at, how to become aware of the silence, presence of now, and the choice that we have. So it's intended for, like, we're sharing how it is for us, what we're doing, what we're noticing. For those that are just beginning. It all started with Joe said, oh, if we did this for 30 days, where would we be? So that's what we're in the middle of, day 4. And so welcome, invite you to day 4.
So what are you guys doing for 30 days?
Say that again, Ian. I missed it.
What are you guys doing for 30 days?
Uncovering infinite consciousness. We're just doing this. We're just doing this with a focus,
Yes.
right? We do our first hour, and our second hour, we put attention into 30 days. Now it'll turn into whatever it turns into.
Yeah, and I had shared earlier, just before you came on, about what my heart is learning to give attention to. Like it's a kind of a discernment that's arising about when things pop into awareness. Does my heart want to give attention to this or not?
And that's a different awareness than, does my mind want to give this attention or not?
Yeah, yeah. It's a little different kind of attention.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize you what you had on. So nice.
I'm sorry, Ian. I couldn't make that out.
I said I didn't recognize you what you had on.
Oh, hi there. Yeah, I forgot I just turned my video on. Yeah. It's a little bit warmer now than without my hat. Yeah. Too hot for the hat.
Yeah,
Even though I can use it to keep the mosquitoes off my head.
it is starting to cool off a little bit here though, so. In the Southwest US, thankfully.
Yeah.
Still sticky on my walk, but a lot less.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the, if I think our pattern, our condition, what we do most of the time is we grab onto a thought and we just run it around in circles, fretting, worrying, anxious. I found for myself, I would just take an idea, I would take a worry, I would take a thought, and without being aware, I would just run in a loop. I'd run in a circle with it.
Yeah. Yeah, the endless loop of the mind.
The mind loop, the thought loop. And that, of course, it sucked in the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is the word there. It's like, as in this journey, day 4, it's like here's the permission to separate your thoughts and your feelings. That helps put attention on them. And so we practice that with words. We practice with words. See, words are connected to emotions. And when someone says a word to us, it hits our nervous system. And we already we're unaware that we put the meaning and the charge to it. That may be, and it may not be, the desires of our heart.
Can I ask you guys a question? I wanted
Yes,
to ask
Sure.
someone who's actually in this work, doing this work. Like, I was on Joe's at first, not finished in December. So I started the proper magnetic mind about 2 months ago, you know, the proper class, like magnetic mind class.
Yep.
And the last month or so, I've been feeling quite lost. Like, I've seen that I've been wearing this mask to like solve my wounding and to that I retrieved through the individuation process. So I've just been wearing this mask, and I feel like the mask has just come off now, and it's just like cracked on the floor, and it's like I don't really know who I am without it.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I've just been feeling like, who the fuck am I? Like, without that mask, without wanting to prove myself, without, you know, who am I? It's just,
Yes.
you know.
Mm. Good. That's normal.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that earlier. It's that tentative, cautious part of that. When the mask starts coming off, it's like, it's like if you had a Band-Aid on. you, do I just yank it off, or do I kind of take it easy, right? In this case, it's kind of like, I think I better take it easy.
I'll use
like
another.
Oh,
Go ahead, Ian, and then I'll give you a metaphor.
I was just saying, like, I feel like the mask has completely fell off now, and I'm just a bit like, who the fuck am I now?
Mhm.
You know, I've been feeling a bit lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll use the desire of your heart, like your play, your joy, your happiness, like the curiosity child you were, right? Before you put that mask on. So that's the separation, that's the difference. And lost means it's like, oh, I don't want to wear that mask anymore, so I'm going to put it down. So now I'm lost and I've got to find my way. But what am I really finding? What am I looking for? So now is the place to be, like, that's where it is. And yes, that is a process. Oh man, does that take some time? And I don't know if we ever get over that or like recover from that. I mean, there's ways we do from where you are now to you'll build more solid foundations as you move through it. But it's like what we come to from that point is the inner child has been in jail since you put that mask on. In a way, it's you betrayed to that heart, your desires of your heart, your inner child, and said, no, I'm going to wear this mask instead. So that's what you're coming back around to in that work. It's like your super conscious awareness. Here we're calling it the infinite awareness, the infinite consciousness. You're coming back around to your inner child you left behind. And when you merge up, what you're looking for is like when your inner child sees you, who you are today, and you see the inner child you've always been looking for. And then it's like, oh, then they join hands and they're able to move through it together.
Makes sense. I feel like I'm looking for myself.
Yeah.
It's really strange. It's really strange feeling. Looking for myself.
There's a beautiful process that can facilitate that too.
And I've not really been wanting to go out. like leave the house, and I've just been wanting to come with him more. I've
Yeah.
not really been wanting to socialize or anything.
There's a lot of mass, you know, a lot of things that we put in the way for a long time. So it's not like it's amazing and beautiful when the moment it happens. I'll never forget it, and many of the people I've worked with, right? That's been their biggest moment. That reintroduction.
Yeah. And you also realize that there's more than one mask that you've been
Oh,
wearing.
yeah. Well,
It's just,
you can say everything but the one you've always wanted is what you could say.
yeah, exactly. It's like peeling an onion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been wearing different masks for different people.
Yeah, for different situations. And yeah. Fabrications.
You've been fragmenting yourself. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
done that, right? Like we're
Internal separations.
we're acting differently with our partner versus our friends versus our boss. And why we do that? For acceptance?
Mm-hmm. For the condition that said that is how you are successful in this life. No, it's all the way back from the earliest memories where you started to put words, you made sense of words and combined them with the emotions you were feeling. Because you had the emotions before you had the words.
Yeah.
So your inner child, right, lived in the emotions well before the words. Your genius was through the emotion, was through the feelings that you had no words for. And then we picked up words and we removed the feelings, right? We disconnected away from the feelings because of the expectations, right, of what people taught us to be, how to act in this world. And yes, we have to learn that, right? Yes, we have to understand society's cultures. Yes. But we don't need to do it at the expense of that inner child, of that joy of our heart. So when you reintroduce, what we do is we come back as the adult you are today, see, visualize, experience meeting up with this energetic child again before they could speak and bringing them back together in alignment. That's the process.
Yeah, and
Because
reawakening all those sensations we had as a baby.
Yes. Yep.
And the truth of them.
Yeah. For me, it was one emotion, like the biggest one I would say was when it was love. It was like, oh, I could open up to love again. And it was 3 months after starting the work. It was October 1st. October 1st, 2020. And it was as if I allowed love to permeate through every past memory, every history, because it wasn't there. It was more anger. So it was going in through the anger and greasing the memories, right? Lubricating the past, connecting. And then from the love allowed different memories of joy, happiness, and sadness. And that was the beginning of the connection, the alignment. And it just happened that it really happened around age 6 for me. It felt about age 6 that it's like, oh, to love is dangerous. To love is hurtful. To love is this word, like it has to be done very carefully. But it really appeared to be that age from 2 to 6 for me. It's like that whole transition, because it just doesn't happen in one moment. It happens over a lot of moments that we're trying to make sense of what's going on until we have a good grasp, which is around 6, of the world and how to participate in it, how to get what we want out of it, what we think we want.
Yeah, that's incremental too.
Mm-hmm. And then when that pattern's locked in, we just keep looking for it. We keep living it. We keep reproducing it. And then we learn ways that when we don't get what we want, we learn how to get out of it and create it. And then we get to a point where that just isn't working anymore. And we work to take those masks off, Ian. That's my experience of it.
Yeah, I've been feeling emotions lately as well. Like, I think I'm just learning to let go of the past that's still coming in, and I've been feeling a bit pissed off at myself for how I've been. Like,
Yep. Healing. That's healing. No other way around it, man. Just through it. It is like you're learning to be patient. You're learning to be compassionate. You're learning all the things that you didn't learn back then.
compassionate with myself, I think I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I'm learning.
Mm-hmm. I think we all learn that one.
Yeah.
I think that is a society burden that we've all gotten, that we've all taken on.
I can just see it, like, as a child, I wanted to prove myself to my father, and it's just been repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. So it's just been like, I've been constantly looking for wanting to prove myself to everyone. So,
Yep. And it's never enough. That's when we realize it will never be enough, because even when you prove it, it's like, oh, then I got to do something bigger and better. I got to go farther again. I got to do more with it. It's like it never works. And so we look at the prove and we look at like, oh, what approval do I need? And that's what I'm working to give myself, because no one else can give it to you.
Yeah, and just interrupt that approval cycle.
I feel I'm just learning to discover what I want. Because
Yeah.
before I want to do this to prove my worth. I want to do this to prove that I'm good enough. What do I actually want without wanting to prove myself?
Yes.
You know?
And how come we don't ask our heart, our own heart, if it approves? Hmm.
Because that's selfish.
Yeah, that's one of many reasons that are taken on.
Mhm. And so I honor and congratulate you, Ian, for discovering your majority pattern. And what that means is like it has hooks in everything.
And something else I realized that I tend to overshare personal information with people because I'm looking for rejection. Do you accept me? If I tell you this, do you accept me? You know,
Mhm.
people don't go around telling people I'm straight. You know what I mean? It's like I'm looking for rejection. You know, it's like, oh, yeah.
There's like something to prove in that. You know, in that situation, what are you proving?
I've come to see that rejection's just safe for me, so I've been repeating it.
Yeah. So what makes it safe? What are you getting from it that makes it safe?
Because I don't want to prove my dad right that I'm not worthy. I feel.
So it's good. You want to prove that you're not worthy, not good enough. That's the proof. That's how that's how we handled the disappointment. Meaning that's how we fed the pattern. When we were unsuccessful in proving we were good enough. Yeah, look at it. I mean, just this child making up these things. Right? Just as little as, oh, Dad, look at my drawing I made today. And, you know, he dismissed it. You were so excited about it. Right? And he dismissed it because he had a busy day. He had something else on his mind. He had something he had to take care of. You as a child didn't know that. It was your whole world to share that with dad. It's just one of the times, right? There's many of those in a child's life. You think about it, with that disappointment, we have to channel it somewhere. We have to come up with a reason. Well, why? What's going on with that? And we have a very limited view of the world, so we come up with one. I must not be good enough. I'm just trying to prove. But see, we don't understand that we're just trying to prove to him. We're just looking for this feeling again, right? We do it, and then we realize, did we get the feeling or not? And then we make up a story, a thought, like, oh, why didn't I get it? Why didn't it go the way I wanted it? Such a vicious and beautiful cycle at the same time.
So yeah, one of my my shadow is reacting, and do I have been tested this morning? So my wife says like, "Oh, did you change the baby?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." So she was like, "Oh, could you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." So I put him on the change table, and then so I took off the diaper, and then as soon as I take off the diaper, he started peeing on his clothes, and so then I don't react, right? I'm just like, okay, well, we'll change you. So I go get new clothes, and I'm just about to put the clothes, and then like he started peeing again, but now on the wall that I freshly painted. And I'm like, holy shit, you know. So, and I'm not reacting, you know. I'm like, okay, this is what I need. I'm here to work on. So, and I really know, right? Like, and I'm like, ah. So move the changing table, move the baby, change the baby, put new clothes, like, you know. So yeah, it was a good reminder this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like that's my goal, right? Like to be present with my child, the best of my ability, right? I'm sure like we miss some, right?
Yeah.
You know, because right now it's kind of more like a sign language, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly. There's some
I'm
kind
sure
of
he's like,
communication in that P, right?
yeah, yeah,
What could that be?
yeah. I'm like, do you ever test me this morning?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm, yeah. So, but I keep reminding him every day. I'm like, Kai, you're not your body. You're not your emotion. Everything like that your body produce is not yours. You know? So, and he smiles and he keeps smiling.
Yeah, of course.
You know? So,
He understands you.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In French,
much
in
deeper level.
English,
That's right.
in Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No language too.
No language too. Yeah, we've been speaking with the eyes a lot lately.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Locking in his eyes and he's locking in mine. And like, I mentioned I just had the one day yesterday with him, right? And my wife was like, oh my God, like he's barely looking at me, you know? Yeah. Yeah, we had a pretty deep connection yesterday. So.
Yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
Isn't it nice being aware of all this? Well, you
Oh.
got this child that's that young.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of envying you right now.
I was kind of unaware, like,
Yeah, yeah,
and I still have some resistance to it, right? Like, because I'm like,
yeah,
okay, like I love my job. I love what I do. I love interacting with you guys, but I'm like, I can mingling these two things together, right? Like this morning, yeah, I'm not here like the whole time from like 6 to 8 or whatever, but I can still join whenever I can, right? So,
Mhm.
you make time. Nobody has more time, right? You make time.
yeah. Like you give attention.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say, like, when I was like, yeah, we keep fragmenting ourselves. And yeah, essentially, like everything what we do is to be love, right? And then what I usually say to people that they're in new relationship, I'm like, be yourself, because it's gonna hurt when you're like, you want to be yourself, but then like your partner at this point she's like, wow, you changed, like you're not the same as before, because you were not yourself when you first started the relationship. It comes back to say like we've been wearing all these masks, right?
Yeah. That's interesting. That's what we were talking about when we began the session today.
Oh yeah.
It was about that. Yeah. Yeah. About creating whole new relational realities between people, between ourselves and others. Relational realities, they're different than anything we've ever experienced before. And how amazing it is to experience that.
Yeah. To be aware of it,
Yeah.
be conscious about it.
Yeah.
So I'll mention to you, Ian, because I'm going to be doing a 21-day challenge. So the first 14 days, so the first 2 weeks is about questioning all your action to the core level. So exactly, why exactly are you doing it, right? So question it probably like 4 or 5 times. And then the last 7 days is to see where you're spending your energy. And is it expanding you or contracting you? So I'll be doing like a 21-day challenge, probably starting from Tuesday, I think. Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday probably, yeah. So I invite you in.
Okay, thanks
You
for
might
that.
have done, yeah.
So for the first one you said was question everything you do. I'm just writing it down.
Yeah, everything like action, your thoughts, like behavior, all that stuff. So for example, the guy that created, you wake up in the morning and then he looked at like his hair or like out of place. So he goes in the mirror and he grabbed the brush and then like he started brushing it. And then like he questioned that action. He was like, why am I brushing my hair right now? And then he's like, well, because it's out of place, right? And he says like, why do I care that it's out of place? Oh, because I want to look good. Why do I want to look good right now? It's like something about like self-esteem, like he wants to look good for other people, not for himself, right? So it goes like really to the core of really your action. So, oh, another one was like, he grabbed his phone and he's calling his friend, how is he doing? He was like, oh, why am I doing it right now? It's like, oh, because I want to ask like my friend, how is he doing? Why do I want to do that? Or why do I care to do that? Or do I really care to do that? And he's like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, why am I doing it? Because I feel lonely. Right? And then like he goes even deeper. Why do I feel lonely right now? Because I don't know myself. Right? Like so, and then like as soon as like you go through these questions, then like light bulb after light bulb just lit up, right? And as soon as you're aware of these patterns, like you can't, well, it's still a choice, but it's hard to run that program again. Because you
It's
almost
the
feel
unpacking.
guilty. You're like, yeah,
It's the unpacking process. It's the unpacking process.
Yeah. But you do it like non-stop for 14 days, you know?
Yep.
It's not just like one pattern and then you do your recode or whatever, and then you wait like 4 or 5 days. Like it's almost like you're doing recode after recode after recode after recode.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
You
like,
definitely
well,
can.
yeah, no, exactly. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the perfect opportunity. I'll be at home. I can carry a journal with him all day long. You know, I'm like, okay, well, I found an opportunity. Instead, at work, it would be really hard to do it. But at home, now I found like a positive way of spending time with Kai and be at home, you know, and work on myself. Right? Because one of the I wouldn't say not reason, but like one of the kind of ways that you know that you're working with your subconscious, like you start to want to be alone, your circle of friends are getting smaller, like all this stuff, right? Like you're not related to many people, you know, until you really find your family, right? Like you're going to a deconstructing process. You're not trying to add on things. So you're trying to remove everything that's not aligned with you. So when you, Ian, like was talking, I was just like, yeah, you want to, you don't feel to go outside, you just feel to go in. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're doing exactly, And it's a good reminder because you're like, oh, is there something wrong with me? I don't want to be with people. I don't want to know how they're doing. Right? But society says like, wow, you should, you should hang out with these friends, even though they're not good for you. Because everybody, that's what they're doing. They're gossiping and drinking, and that's what's fun, right? Or is it?
It's fun when you don't know anything else,
Mm,
but quite draining.
yeah, but that's what it comes to, like that energy diagnostic, right? Like, so you go to an event, say, so like you kind of quantify it before the event, during the event, and after the event. Was it like beneficial for me, or it was draining my bank account, my bank of energy?
Thanks, I'm gonna get that go. I'll start next week. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we get started together on Tuesday
Yeah.
and see what
Okay.
comes up. Because I think
Hi, mate.
Sorry?
I just said hi to Ian.
Hi,
Oh,
Joe.
yeah. What's missing in our society is like in those groups, right? Like, it's be accountable for each other, right? Because I know that it works for me, like I've been in the men's group, and then like, we were partner up with like someone else, and then like, every week we were doing like a Zoom call, but then in the midweek we had some exercise to do, and we're like, okay, did you do your exercise? And why you didn't do them, and then really like kind of going deeper through it, and then like finding the core of it.
So Pascal, if we set the 6 o'clock in the morning on, or like this last hour,
Hey.
right? I don't know if that
That's-
works for you, but that would be that would tie into
Thank
the
you.
30-day thing we're working.
No. Yeah, give me 1 second, because I got like 3 dogs in, like, because I got a ball in my hand.
No worries. No worries.
Okay.
Good morning, Joe.
Hey, beautiful people.
Okay, I'll go on mute. Hey.
There we go. Part of that is like, that sounds like what we're working here will work extremely well with our intentions of infinite consciousness. Now, we can do it together if we want, choose it. What are we seeing? How we implement it every day? Share what's showing up with us. Joe, how does that sound? Sound like something what you would had created for intending to do it?
Of course. Sounds amazing.
It does.
Let's rock this.
Better to do it together than alone, right?
You can go further, you can go faster alone, but further together.
I don't even think you can go faster alone. How are you today, Joe?
I'm all right, thanks. Got to sleep pretty late, woke up pretty late, but feeling good, feeling blessed. Things is beautiful. It's all unraveling amazingly. So yeah, really, really blessed right now. Feeling really fortunate, grateful.
Now, what choice are you focusing on? What choice are you living?
Well, my current chief aim is to get to Pearl in Solex. So that's like building a pretty big team, you know, and pretty big organization. Like that's kind of a chief aim for me. But well, that's a chief aim for me right now. Which all lines up with the level evolution.
Which is desire of your heart.
Well, that's in line with one of the desires of my heart, because the end result of that is a lot of people having an experience and having the opportunity to have an experience whenever they like, entering harmony in their own space, in their own time. Sorry, I'm still waking up. Big love.
I'm just filling you in. It's what we've been focused on, the desires of our hearts. It's a choice, what that's looked like, how that goes. And just because we choose it once doesn't mean that it shows up the next moment.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this just the other day, like dreams and goals, and then chief aim. And we want to know our chief aim like our own name. So I was thinking about, and it wants to be ideally like specific, and kind of measurable. So yeah, that's something that came to me. And I don't know if it's full on heart. It might be a bit of heart and head mixed up.
Nothing wrong with that, right? We have to have it. We have to shape it, right, so that we know, give it guideposts, guidelines. It's and just be looking for. I think that's the practice that ego, or the practice that Pascal brings in, is understanding, why am I doing that? Because the ego is going to learn ways around it anyway, right? The ego is going to create ways to get what it wants. So we have to include it.
Yeah.
How else would we know where we're going?
Yeah.
I like it. Desires, chief aim, dreams.
The way it was described to me was like, say you were going to the Olympics, like that's your big dream, but then your chief aim is to like, okay, right, I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing my training every day, you know, I'm gonna make sure I turn up and do it, and the chief aim aligns. It's like you've got or like say you've got your end result, but it's like the chief aim is like in front of it, but it's like a glass. It's like a glass. So you're going toward it, and then that leads to another, but they're all lined up with each other. But it's just chunking it down in it, rather than it being such a massive thing. It's chunking it down into months, and yeah.
Where this word comes from? Chi Feng? Never heard of it.
Oh man, that's Kevin Trudeau all day, baby.
Oh, is it? Okay. Chi Feng. Nice.
Chief aim. What is your chief aim? Know your chief aim like your own name. If we don't know what we want,
It keeps the tension flowing.
yeah.
And that's important. Otherwise, you're a beach ball.
Yeah. Another chief aim, trust me, is creating frequency holistic planets around the world and get them opening up like popcorn. Pop, pop, pop. I want holistic centers popping up around the world like popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. Free healthcare. Free healthcare for the world. Pay what you feel. Take health back into your own hands. Assisting. We're not giving fishing rods out. No, we're not giving fish out. We're giving out fishing rods. See thousands of people, millions of people remembering and their hearts awakening to the infinite love within them, and no longer power struggles are needed. I don't need to put you down or put you up to get energy. People tap into their own internal supply. Don't need to put people down or put people up to make themselves feel good. Just be. Support, love, hold accountable with love. So yeah, they're my dreams and wishes. But then yeah, you want your dreams to be not too crazy, because then it turns into a wish. But your wish still is your command. But I love that the genius, the genie in us, the genie in us. We've got our own genie's lamp. Yo, Pascal, man, I put level 4 questions and answers to Global Information Network in the chat, man. 99 pages of absolute fire.
You put that in the chat? Oh, the heart center chat.
Yeah, it's in there. Yo, if we can get all them answers where we just know them, like boom, what's that? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, because knowledge is a power. Only the use of knowledge. Yeah. Right. So having this at our mental fingertips, you know what I mean? Whose wish is our only command? Is it yours? Is it Genie's? Is it mine? Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me just open it up. But yeah, like all my days, like I can give you an example of a question, yeah. So question 30. What music should you listen to while learning new information? A, Renaissance classical, B, Baroque classical, or C, medieval classical?
Baroque. Baroque
Yeah,
all day.
because it synchronizes the left and right brain hemisphere and takes you to that alpha state, and you become a lot more absorbent and receptive to it. And it's also like, it's also meant to help with recall as well, you know, recalling the information.
Mm.
So how often should you focus on the teachability index? 3 times a day, every other day, or once a week?
Every day. Multiplying.
Every day,
Multiple time
baby,
every.
every day. Every day. All right. And then next question, this is just one that's probably here, but I'm not seeing it. What are the 2 variables in the teachability index? One of them is a willingness to learn, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10. So you can have a really high willingness to learn. I really want to learn that. I really want to learn this, yeah. But then
Yeah.
where the rubber hits the road is the next variable, which is what is your willingness to accept change? Yeah, so we can have a
Right.
high willingness to learn and a low willingness to accept change. So 10 times
Mm-hmm.
0 is nothing. Yeah. So how
Yeah.
teachable, how comfortable are we? How observant, how aware are we of what is going on? And that's your teachability index. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. One last question. Yeah. Go as far as you can see. And when you get there, A, you'll see further. B, you'll feel better. Or C, rest and think about what you just done. I say this all the time. Go as far as you can see, and when you get there, A, you'll see further. B, you'll feel better. C, rest and think about what you've just done.
You'll see
See
further.
further. Yes, see further.
Yeah, you'll see further. Pascal's on it. Ring a ding 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 ding. Yo, this is it. This is in there, mate. 99 pages of these glorious questions. And as you are knowing them answers, then you're building them neurological pathways, and it's becoming part of our being. It's literally upgrading our genetics and our DNA. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Ooh, baby, let's go.
Yeah.
So let me add so just knowing it is one step. Understanding it, like embodying it, is a whole nother level of it.
Thank
Understanding
you.
why, the
Mhm.
mechanism of it. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, let me just learn more of this useless information.
Yeah, there's knowing it, and then there's knowing it. Yeah, and we want
There's
it, so we
familiar,
know it, embody it. It's part of us, you know.
which means your
So
ability to act. Knowledge is the ability to act with it, which how you know you can act with it is when you teach it.
yeah, thank you, and then also able to elaborate on it further. Like
Yep.
the example is like back in the day, they used to give like big words in schools, and it's like, okay, use that in a sentence, use that in another sentence, use it in another. Do you know? And the more you can do that, but then when you first start and you just know it, yeah, you know it, and you can explain a little bit. But if someone asks questions, it might crumble. So yeah, you want to be able to ask questions, elaborate, go further, and then it's truly in our being. But one step at a time, man.
Yep. And it all
Mhm.
starts with familiarity, right? You become familiar. Oh, familiar. Then we get understanding. Understanding means you've got it memorized. Knowledge means, oh, then I take it to a whole nother level and can act with it. We can improvise with it. We can engage with it. Those are the 3 layers.
Yeah.
And then wisdom.
Yep. And wisdom's after that.
Mm-hmm.
Virtuoso is the top one. Otherwise, we can just think that we memorize that and we'll have it. That's what so many people think, that all they just need to do is memorize that. Well, that's just the school structure teaching you how to think.
Yeah, that's it. And like the unconscious mind, it prefers us to think that we know it, do you know, because then you don't have to keep growing.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Anything else for this morning, gentlemen?
Well, I just want to say, like, the you know, another thing I'll be doing is the gene key. It's the gene key. I know Craig is pretty familiar with it. Like, I just question for you, like, did you pay for the program, or like you just learn it from the book, or
No, I got
what's
the
your-
free profile. Then I got the audio book on Audible because I had a
Yeah.
token, and then I've got the book as well. But literally, like, I listen. It's a 25-hour book, so I listened to about 20 hours of it. You know.
Is that as
Um,
far as you got so far?
Yeah, literally, I've not even finished it. I've not got to the end,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I need to restart that. I mean, I need to finish it. I choose to finish it. So, and then I got the book. But yeah, literally, like when I listen to it on Audible, and then when I read it, it's obviously it's gone in already, but it's like it's got a layer to it. It's kind of got something to stick and sit in and stick to, you know,
Yeah.
by
Yep.
adding that Audible layer. It's kind of like put it in my head. Do you know what I mean? And then when I'm reading it and stuff, it's like, you know, but it's because it's such a
Yeah.
ginormous book. That's happened before with other books, and it's like, say for example, a normal size book. I'll listen to it on Audible. Then when I'm reading it, it just goes in a lot. It just sits. It just goes in a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh no,
yeah,
for
so
sure.
that's it. But I'm interested. Like, I would love to do the Gene Keys program for sure.
Yeah, because
everything
they
in
have
divine
one, like,
timing.
they have a little portion of each for free, right? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that and see if that resonate with me, and then if I want to push it further. But like, man, like when I read my gene key, I'm like, it cannot be more perfect. You know what I mean? It's just
I
like
know. Oh my God,
it
tell me
reads
about
me
it.
to the letter. I was just like, holy, because I know exactly like when I'm born, also. So it's
Thing is,
and
like
then
that Gene Keys, that blows people's heads off. That literally are literally like friends that I've shown that aren't even like massively spiritually inclined, you know.
mhm.
But it's undeniable. It's like you read that, it's like, oh shit, yeah, oh shit, what? No way. And it's like, wow.
Yeah,
So
it's like
yeah,
you can't hide. It's like you can't hide no more. You know, it's like right there. You know, it pretty much gonna tell you like, yeah, that's your path. You know, it's up to you if you want to follow it or not. But it is your path. It really like show you exactly kind of
Yeah. It
I guess
confirms things that you've known your whole life, right?
yeah.
That's what I find fascinating about it. Is it just, it just tells you what your heart already knows. It just confirms things.
So what
And
is Gene
it's a
Keys?
big
I'm looking on there.
exploration. You start looking at it.
oh
Yeah.
Ian, mate, you're gonna
Yeah.
love it, brother. I'm gonna send you the link, mate. You literally put in your name, date of birth, ideally when you were born, and then it's gonna give you your 4 Gene Keys. And
Yeah,
there's 64 altogether.
genekeys.com. That's it, right?
Yeah,
Genekeys.com.
genekeys.com. I'll
Yeah,
send you
I'm
the
on the
link.
page now. It
GENE.
says create your
Yeah.
personal Gene Keys profile, name, email address, birth city, date of birth, time
Yeah,
of
so
birth.
if you put
Yeah.
that in now, yeah, it'll tell you the numbers. And then if you want, I don't know if Jesse's got time, but either way, on the next call or this call, like we can look at them with you,
Oh, okay.
or you can look at them and read them. And then
Yep.
like Craig's really good at you know, flipping like reading these and pulling out the magic and you know, honoring what's coming up, appreciating it, seeing it.
Yeah. So I'll share quick how I got into it. How I got into the Gene Keys. I was actually in another program, and this is just a couple of months after I was in a car accident, just before everything shut down for COVID. So I happened to be in a program about, I think it was called Awakened Wealth Master and Shadow Work. So I was kind of fascinated about doing shadow work and what was involved in that, and you know, and I studied it in this program. And at that time, I happened to be binging every episode of a podcast, and I just listened to them one after another. And yeah, the guy that ran the Awakened
what was
Wealth
the
actually had
podcast?
2 podcasts that
What was the
had
podcast?
many episodes to it. The pod Emergence, I think.
Emergence. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what the podcasts were called, because I was listening to these podcasts. I figured I'd type in shadow work into the search bar of the podcast app that I was using. So I put in shadow work, and I found a podcast that was called that. It was a young lady in Quebec who
Oh, okay.
who is the spiritual
Shout
leader
out to
for
Quebec.
her. Yeah, exactly. Shout out for Quebec. And her husband or another. So what they do is they do these wilderness, on these excursions as the spiritual guru, finding themselves out in the forest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm listening to her podcast, her shadow work podcast, and she says there's 64 shadows that I'm exploring in this pod. And then she comes up with where I'm getting my information from is the Gene Keys and a guy named Richard Rudd. And within, I got my Gene Keys hologenetic profile done, and within a week I had bought the book and I was into it big time.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, I don't have the book,
and then
but I have
what
the
I found
Audible.
out is that the Gene Key line and human design is kind of like the baby sister of astrology. And so I took from that time on, I've taken a deep dive human design and astrology, and it's been, you know, like I say, it's been a really fun. It's basically confirmed a lot of things I've known about myself.
Yeah, it's
And helped
excavating,
me
right?
understand my own stuff, right? And how my energy interfaces with other people and all those kind of things. And you know, when it comes right down to it, I mean, that's we're living in a quantum, and everything's about energy. And so the more you can know and experience about your energetics and how they interact with things and people and planets and all that kind of stuff, the more powerful you are.
Yeah, the way I see it, it's like, you know, there's 4 numbers.
You learn
right?
to be a magician. Yep.
Yeah, there's 4 numbers. So it's kind of like, okay, you need to dig here, there, and there. So, and then like
And-
you
and the
took the
four numbers-
excavator,
the
and
four
then like
numbers-
you're deeping,
four-
like you're going deeper and deeper, right? So excavating deeper and deeper.
Yep.
And the four
But it
numbers,
tells
Ian,
you,
Yeah, those
Yeah.
those first four numbers have a huge influence over you. Like
mhm,
anywhere from 50 to 70% of your whole true nature
yeah,
are reflected in called. And for Ian, that's your life's work, your evolution, your radiance, and your life purpose.
yeah.
I want to ask, I'm putting in my
Those are your
birth
four prime
certificate.
gifts.
what you saying, Ian?
Yeah.
I'm putting in my birth city, but it's not coming up. I was
You
born
putting
in
in your
North
what?
Wales. Birth city.
Oh, just put something close, man.
Birth
Yeah, something
city.
close. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I was born in North Wales and it's
Yeah,
not
and
coming
it
up,
helps
so-
if you know your actual birth time too. If you can get,
Yeah, I know my
if
birth
you
time.
can get your birth time close. Yep.
Yo, Craig, can you make your signal any better? I'm sure it's crackling out.
Mhm.
So yeah, once you've done that, Ian, then it's going to come out and it's going to tell you your 4 gene keys. Like you said, what's your radiance,
Yeah,
what you
it's
come
come
to
up now.
learn, your relationships, and
Life purpose.
it's gonna. There's like 3 stages. There's the shadow, which is like the lowest frequency of that. Then it shifts up into the gift, and then it shifts up into the siddha, and the siddha is like the divine vibration. You know, the fastest. You know. And like each gene key, we're like shifting through those different stages. So have you pressed enter? Has it told you what numbers
Yeah.
you are?
Each
Yeah,
gene
yeah.
key has an energy to it.
It says gene key
Yeah.
9.
So what does it say to begin with?
Is that the top one?
The top one, genius.
Yeah, so what does it say?
My deepest purpose in life is to manifest the gift of inquiry. To release my purpose, I need to transform the shadow of doubt.
Ooh. What number's that?
It just says genius.
Okay, cool. What's the next one it says?
Love.
What does it say?
In relationships, my greatest challenge is to transform the shadow of struggle into the gift of perseverance. The greatest
Perseverance.
expression of my heart. The greatest expression of my heart is harmony.
How does that feel to you? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I guess so.
So it'll tell you another 2, and then it'll tell you what your actual gene keys are.
Oh yeah, it's saying my life's work, what I'm here to do, gene key 9. That's for genius. My
What was the
evolution.
next one?
My evolution, what I'm here to learn, G key 16.
Yeah.
My radiance, what keeps me healthy, gene key 64.
64. Okay, yeah, and your other one's going to be 63 then.
Yeah, 62. My purpose, yeah, 62.
You got a juxtaposition cross. Very interesting.
Yo, Craig, your signal's really, really crackly, mate.
Yeah, we can't hear you. You're like AI.
Crap. What's going on?
Craig's got AI in his name.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
A bit better.
Keep talking, we'll tell you.
Okay, let me turn it up a little bit. Can you hear me now?
It's still cracking
Yeah.
though,
So
but it's a bit
Is
better.
that better?
Is that? Yeah. But keep talking, and then we'll tell you.
E, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2,
This is a
3.
test.
have you got your headphones on or something?
A, B, C, D. 1, 2. Is it coming through okay?
Not really.
It's okay. It's okay. Just okay though.
Wow. Yeah, you got a good Wi-Fi signal, and I've got, yeah, weird.
Craig, maybe just log out and in again, mate.
Yeah, sometime it will do the trick.
So Ian, what's he saying next then, my brother?
I'm just reading it.
Is anything hitting you?
I haven't read it properly yet. Once I get off the call, I'll properly read it.
Yeah.
Mm,
You have
Yeah.
the voice. Oh, no.
yeah, it's like they say, like it's really contemplating in it, right? Like really, like let it
Yeah.
sink in deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to just like read it and then like put it aside, right? It's not, you know, like that's how I learn usually, right? Like I just like, oh, read. But this one, it's kind of yeah, it's a lifetime journey. You know, you go deeper and deeper, and then yeah, so making the hole bigger and bigger and bigger to
Is
really
that better?
find like, yeah, I think so. Keep going.
I hope he's not going now because it's not more better.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, ABC. Is it no better?
Mm,
It's a weird one, man.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Are you
is.
in your house? You in your
Yep.
house? It might be okay now. I mean, it was better than like that.
So you mentioned Gene Key 64, and that's the Aurora. So the shadow state is confusion, which leads to imagination, which leads to illumination.
Mm.
The chaos of the elements. With the 64th Gene Key, we come to one of the greatest mysteries of existence, the mystery of inner light. When the light is obscured within a human being, it results in confusion, the 64th shadow. Confusion is the great human shadow state. It sweeps across our world like a great blanket, smothering, disempowering, and screening the mass consciousness from the true nature of reality. As the last of the 64 keys in the sequential form of the 64th Gene Keys offers us some final warnings. This is after all the shadow of confusion. As we see repeatedly throughout the 64th Gene Keys, the shadows are not inherently bad in the sense of being evil. They are in fact the raw materials of the highest fields of consciousness, like the nugget of gold that may hide in a diamond of great beauty. As the confusion reveals its underlying nature and begins to coalesce into an organized etheric substance, it becomes in turn the wonder of human imagination. Finally, when imagination transcends itself at the highest frequencies, the inner light at the heart of all creation explodes inside your being as spiritual illumination. This is the journey of every human being. Ooh!
I like your
Oh,
energy,
yeah.
Joe.
Flipping Ian's loving it, mate. This is your gene key, yeah? So, confusion in itself is perfectly a natural state. The ancient alchemists referred to this state as the massa confusa, the chaos of the elements, likening it to the primal swirling that preceded the birth of the universe. Confusion is a state with neither order nor structure. It is a state rippling with pure potentiality. Ooh! Only when the human mind attempts to interpret it does it become bewildering. Oh my God! Wow! Only when the human mind attempts to interpret it does it become bewildering. If you are able to look into your primal state of consciousness without engaging your mind, yes, thank you, Craig, in any way, you will see the true nature of being manifested as illumination, the 64th Siddhi. Ooh! Whoa! That is big, mate. That is big.
Yeah, you'll notice that's the last one. That's the 64th one. That's the last one.
Yeah. Wow, each of the 64th shadow is born out the human mind's tendency to identify with whatever it sees. The tendency creates a
Come,
biofeedback.
guys.
You what, Pascal? Are you off?
Yeah, I'm gonna be leaving because going back to work now.
Is it because you really want to order the book now?
What's that? Sorry.
Is it because you need to order the book right now?
Oh no. That's all good.
I'm
No, it's
joking,
just
I'm
because
joking,
I
I'm
came. No. I came home. So yeah, but I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
Big love, brother.
Okay. You too.
Thanks for
Take
coming.
care.
Bye, guys.
Big love, Pascal. Yep.
Wow. The loop is generated between the 64th shadow of confusion and its programming partner, the 64th shadow of doubt. Here is how it works. At every moment, your thinking reflects the way in which the inner body is feeling. If your overall frequency, this is what I mean, this is why I got into Solex as well with the frequency shit, because when I tie these two together, we are laughing, yeah? If your overall frequency is low, you generally feel a kind of background unease throughout your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. This unease is generated by the global frequency in which we all live. In other words, every human being feels the suffering of the whole world through the quantum field that connects us all. The more you listen into your body, the more you will attune to this collective sense of unease. Wow, that is rooted in fear. Most people develop patterns from an early stage to escape feeling this vast desert of world pain, and the mind is the first line of defense. As long as we are addicted to thinking, we can avoid fully feeling it. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my days. Flipping
How
it.
many months have we been talking about that, Joe?
Oh my days. Oh my days. We can avoid fully feeling it. Oh my God. As long as we are addicted to thinking. Shit. Wow. This suffering within each human being is rooted entirely in the past. It came down into you through your ancestral DNA and was transcended to you as a child through the coping strategies of the patterns of your peers. Your basic urge to flee from this pain will keep you from ever facing what you really are. Oh my God. And this fact, lying deep within yourselves, gives rise to another of the great human shadows, self-doubt.
You're reading
human beings-
63, right?
Yeah, that's Jinky, yeah.
Yeah.
We human beings doubt ourselves because we are not really ourselves in the first place. Oh my God!
Yeah,
Is that 63?
that's 63.
This is
That comes under
64.
my
That's your
64
radiance,
comes
isn't it?
under, yeah, radiance and health.
This is
Yeah.
your radiance, right? So those illusions that play through the self-doubt, we human beings doubt ourselves because we are not really ourselves in the first place. Instead, we inhibit the confusion. And the more our minds try to cope with this confusion, the more we feed our own self-doubt. It is a biofeedback loop. At the general low frequency of the planet, the mind cannot escape itself, but instead keeps feeding its own illusions. Those illusions then play out through the course of events that we call our lives. Thus, our true potential is never fully lived. As Furu so aptly put it, we lead lives of quiet desperation. Shit the bed. Whew. If you take just about any human being and you scratch the surface of their awareness, you will very soon uncover layers and layers of repressed pain. The mind lives in a state of permanent confusion, trying to make it all go away. But confusion is a dead-end street. It is a falsity fabricated by the mind. The moment the mind stops thinking, the confusion ends. Oh my days. Which shows you what a sham it is. As you will shortly see at the Siddhic frequency, the state that we refer to as confusion is actually the holiest state of awareness that there is. Woo! Yeah. So if you just take any human being in
Yeah, see, that's I don't know, right? The state of
Yeah.
confusion is I don't know.
Is that yeah? So to return to our discussion of the gene keys is all about light. All the 64 gene keys are really about light. This light, which is our inner nature of consciousness, is inherent within all forms. It lies obscured until evolution allows it to naturally reveal itself. This is the process of alchemy, the greatest science of all sciences. The 64th gene key is an integral aspect of the rites of alchemy, which includes 3 other great alchemical gene keys. The sixth gene key, which causes confusion in your relationships. The 46th gene key, which locks you into a futile battle with your own mind. Oof. And the 40th gene key, which leads to profound feelings of isolation. When you are confused, you are alone. The light that moves through the 64th gene key wants more than anything to infuse and fire your mind with inspiration rather than confuse you. But it depends on your attitude, which is the litmus test for your general level of frequency. Therefore, when you're feeling low, it's always best to transmute your thinking onto a higher plane. If you are unable to do this, at the very least, you need to wait out the phase and allow it to evolve on its own accord. If you are patient and unreactive, the light will shine through in the end. So repressive nature imitation. It takes an enormous amount of energy to repress our inherited human pain. To repress that amount of pain, you actually need a great deal of support from others. Wow. Ironic as that may seem, this support comes in the form of status quo from the millions of others who also hide from the truth of how the world feels and bury themselves in activity and thinking. Don't confuse activity with accomplishment. Half of the world represses their confusion through imitation. Half of the world represses their confusion through imitation. They do what their parents did or what their friends and teachers do. Imitation is the alchemy of imagination. It is a massive illusory safety net devised by the collective to keep from feeling the state of the world as it is. Repressive nature combats that fear through imitating everyone else. Some of them even manage to look original whilst they are doing it. Oof. Reactive nature confused. There are those whose nature simply cannot handle repressed feelings. Certain types of physiology are not designed to deal with the sustained voltage of pain held beneath the surface, at least not for any significant length of time. In such people, the core human pain held in their DNA is extremely expressed through our outer lives. Such lives are always incredibly confused. These are the people who simply cannot stay in a relationship without being abusive, whilst the repressed nature is a victim of the status quo. The reactive nature is a victim of their anger towards the status quo. Their lives are lived in an unconscious attempt to take revenge on its life itself. These people react against the status quo, often in an aggressive and unpredictable manner. Out of the basic dynamic between repressed and reactive, you can clearly see how both the abuser and the abused are born. Oh my days. So the gift of this year is imagination, the art of life. The depth of agony felt and expressed by the human race is both born and resolved in the genetic coupling of the 64th gene key and its programming partner, the 63rd. Despite the reality of pain we are born into as we enter a human body, there is good news. Hallelujah. The solution is so simple. The suffering we feel, though real within the context of our physiology, is an illusion when it comes to our minds, and our minds hold the key to its release. As we see at the shadow frequency, the mind automatically collapses into confusion when faced with the pain underlying life. If you were taken out of your everyday life and placed into solitary confinement for even the space of a single week, you would soon feel the profound pain that lies within your body. With nothing to do and nothing to distract your awareness, the pain quickly comes to the surface. Interestingly, this is the roles of meditation, to allow this pain to rise to the surface of your awareness so that it can be transmuted. All it takes is willingness to feel the pain, and the miracles begin. Oof. Once you realize that there is no point in trying to make the pain go away, oh my days, you may finally begin to see the loop you have been caught in. It is your mind that continuously takes you away from the pain. Oh my days. Wow. As your inner spirit decides to face who you really are for the first time ever. Oh, this is good because I've not read this yet. As your inner spirit decides to face who you really are for the first time ever, the mind tricks are witnessed. In that witnessing, the mind's long reign over you gradually begins to crumble. The more you watch your mind trying to understand or avoid the confusion, the more a shift inside you begins to occur. Thinking takes a great deal of energy. Something has to feed all those neurons. Thus, the moment you take away the mind's food, your belief that it can help you, all the energy that was going into feeding, it is gradually liberated. In certain rare cases, this energy can be abruptly liberated, causing the phenomenon known as sudden enlightenment. All natural energy of life force has one inbuilt program: to grow and evolve. This is the nature of life. Thus, when we release the quantum energy that was latent inside you, it begins to rise. As it rises, the evolutionary forces takes a hold of your mind and begins to paint with it. This is how true creativity is born, and the human imagination is unleashed. Imagination is the expression of unimpeded life forces coursing through your genetics. Oof, woo! This is the 64th gene key gift. Imagination is born out of confusion, but only when you embrace confusion without trying to change it. Imagination allows alchemy to occur inside your being. In the beginning, you may paint, write, sing about, or simply tell the story of your pain and how it feels to you. It doesn't matter what form the pain takes. What matters is that it can be expressed and accepted. In fact, the gift, frequency, pain can be more than simply expressed. It can become art. If you allow your pain or the world pain to be expressed through an artistic process, you will see alchemy in progress. To be expressed through an artistic process, you will see alchemy in progress. Your art will follow a natural sequence of archetypes. You will begin by descending symbolically into the underworld and give voice and shape to the demons and fear frequencies that live there. As you allow your frequency to rise further, your demons will gradually reveal their hidden nature. The light will emerge from inside them, and the frogs will become princes. All true art is alchemical. Artistic process that does not release the inner light is simply the art of shadow consciousness finding its way into imagination. As long as you are courageous and honest, your expression will continue to evolve naturally to the highest frequencies. Eventually, we all end up painting the angels. I've nearly finished this whole thing now, yeah? The other great power of imagination is that it spells
5
the
hours
death.
later.
Yeah, are you on 64 now?
Yeah, this is 64. Literally, I've just got one page left, yeah? As long as are courageous and honest, your expression will come to evolve naturally to the highest frequencies. Eventually, we all end up painting the angels. The other great power of imagination is that it spells the death of imitation. To imagine means to go where no one else has been before, to break free from mental, intellectual, and cultural constraints and let your mind soar upon the wings of your heart. Woo! Imagination is abstract, illogical, and wild. It creates wormholes between worlds, moving too swiftly to analyze itself from meaning or reason. To imagine is to leap, to bound, to whoop with delight outside of all logic and patterns. It is the source of all art. Those who exemplify this gift of imagination understand light and the properties of light. Light makes images possible, and images are the fuel of imagination, as the etymology of the word suggests. It imagines it's therefore to see and envision. To imagine is therefore to see and envision shape, color, form, and movement. It bridges inner vision with the outer eye. It allows your life to become a work in progress, a true work of art. Right, now time for the city, yeah. This is where it all shifts to. The 64th Giddy is the city of illumination. This is imagination from the eye. This is imagination without the eye. When that eye surrenders, it needs to exist. Magic shines through. The evolutionary force obliterates the identification with the form, and illumination floods your being. When you approach acidic state, you often experience occasional glimpses of the state before it fully detonates inside you. Wow. There are many different types of spiritual and religious experience. Different teachers speak of different states. Some advocates specifically disciplines to attain these states, whilst others say they can only be attained when discipline has been entirely dropped. What? All discipline has been dropped. Okay. All words.
Yeah, that's full
spoken-
spontaneity instead of discipline.
Wow, thank you. Oh my days.
Yeah.
All words spoken from the Siddhic state carry the same truth. They simply come through these 64 genetic slants. Therefore, if you attach meaning to the words spoken by a particular master, you will probably go adrift. You only have 1 in 64 chance of meeting someone who speaks the exact language that matches your own potential primary siddhis. Woo! 1 in 64 chance, baby. Wow.
It's better than the lottery.
Right. Perhaps the best advice for anyone who has contact with a person manifesting a acidic state that concerns the difference between hearing and listening. Only when you stop listening to such a person will you finally hear them. What? What the heck, man? It's blowing my head. Only when you stop listening to a person will you finally hear them. What the heck? I love that. I don't get it though, but I love it. The mind listens in order to end its own confusion. Oh my days. Oh, whew. It is as though someone is talking to you, but you cannot hear them because you yourself are talking at the same time. Oh my God.
Yeah, when you're thinking about what you're gonna say.
Yeah, what you're going to say next, you're thinking about that. You're not thinking about what you're hearing, right? Your attention isn't
Yeah.
on what you're hearing. It's on what you're going to
You're
say
not-
next.
Yeah, you're not in the present, so you're in the future, and the other person is in present, so you can't hear them because you're in two different kind of timeline.
You know, when it talked about energies complementing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Joe just disappeared, but that's what when Joe and I got into, like, this was even before the Gene Keys, I realized it, but when I actually saw his chart, you know, I realized that we had a very complementary energetic. And you know, and it turns out all of his prime gifts are in the heart chakra. And so the fact that he created this movement called the Lovolution, it's no surprise because all of his primary energies are in his heart or in his heart chakra.
Right.
So it makes sense that something developed around the theme of love would permeate his life. So it's no big surprise. It's just a huge confirmation.
Mm. And I would say mine are like in the throat.
Yeah, they might be. Let me have a quick look at yours again, Pascal. What's the top number? What's your life's work
49? 49, I believe.
49.
Was it?
Is it 40? No, it's 43.
43. Yeah.
It's 43. Yeah. So 43 is, yeah, it's in your ajna. It's your third eye.
Yeah, like
Is where that one is.
oh, third eye. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And I think, yeah, right. And because it's 43, you also have, yeah, you also have, it's not a programming partner, but it's the other end of the channel between your ajna or your third eye chakra and your throat chakra. It connects the two.
Mm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I have that same connection in my chart as well.
Mm.
So yours is sun and earth, Mine is Mercury and the moon that created that connection between those two chakras.
From the third eye to the throat?
Third eye to the throat. Yep.
Mm.
What's number
So-
9 for life work?
Life's work number 9. Well, actually, you would have got in the readout they gave you, you would have gotten a really good, a good summary of that. If you go down the next page on the readout they gave you,
Oh yeah.
it'll say that. So yeah, why don't you read that out to us, Ian?
You have a very specific task to fulfill whilst you're here on this earth, and to discover that task, you must find the dream that lies inside you. You do not need to know all the details of your dream. All that is necessary is that you feel the energy of enthusiasm that it invokes in you. And armed with this, you can bring all your energy into a single line of focus, surrendering your dream. Despite all this talk of dreams, you are not really a dreamy kind of person, but a being of action. You only have to make certain that your every act follows a unified direction. Otherwise, you will find yourself pouring envious energy into something that can never fulfill you. Enormous energy into something that not for you. If you find yourself committed to such a course of action, then at some point you are going to have to break the pattern and begin a new direction. In this respect, it is better not to wait too long, because the longer you wait, the harder it will be to begin again. Once you are following your heart, you can take heart from the fact that the whole universe is with you.
Yeah,
That's
so
all.
your vision, your dream is a subset of the cosmic one. It's a very specific piece of the cosmic intention, of the cosmic creation. And your heart already knows what that is. So it's probably hiding in there right now and just beginning to come out as you get more aware of what your heart desires.
I'm still bouncing between my head and my heart.
Because it mentioned clarity in that too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Thank
like
you.
realizing it in incrementally more and more detail.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you already know the theme. You know the general theme of it. As you explore the general theme of it, it'll get more clear and get more detailed for you. You know, part of that is that shaman inside of you that wants to express himself. Wow, that's exciting, Ian.
Oh yes, let me download it.
Yeah.
So Ian, you were a shaman in previous life?
I think so.
Could be. But we discovered a number of months ago that Ian is kind of carrying a shaman spirit around inside him, and it expressed itself in a session we were in. a while ago.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so we know it's there. Yeah.
Am
Yeah.
I all right to send you this report? Because I don't understand it.
Yeah, if you
I've just
send it to me
downloaded it. and-
send it to me by messenger.
Yeah.
And and we can discuss it some more.
Thank you. Because it's come up with life work and it says 9.4. I haven't got a clue what that
Yep.
means. And then it says Pearl.
So, Craig, did you pay for those programs?
For which programs?
Like the Gene Key?
No, in fact, I actually the first actual course I'm taking that was around the gene keys is
Yeah.
I just started it a few weeks ago through the Shift Network on Facebook.
Shift Network on Facebook? Huh.
Yep. And it was a very low cost general overview of the gene keys, but I'm learning a lot of new stuff in there because the guy that's teaching it is an actual gene keys ambassador. So
Okay.
he's taken extensive training there. But yeah, I have, besides the gene keys book, I also have the activation sequence book and the Pearl sequence book and the Venus sequence book.
Mm.
So I've been studying those. That's the 3 stages of the golden path. If you look at your profile, like the graphic of your profile, the activation sequence is the green spheres. There's the life work on the top, the evolution on the right side. On the left side is the radiance, and on the bottom is your purpose. Those are your prime gifts,
Yeah.
and those are the activation sequence. Those are kind of
Mm.
what jumpstarts you and gets everything going. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you notice your purpose sphere on the bottom is half green and half red. Okay.
Yeah.
The red ones are your Venus sequence. And that kind of goes through your emotional development throughout your life. And it kind of works its way backwards. So you're going in 7-year chunks. You go from 14 to 21. And then as you go up or sideways, as you kind of follow the line that goes up, age 14 to 21, and then you go age 7 to 14, and then the upper one there is age 0 to 7, and you work your way through that.
Okay.
And then you end up at a sphere that's half red and half blue. And the blue one, the red blue one is the end of the Venus sequence and the beginning of your Pearl sequence, which is all about your prosperity and abundance. It's kind of how to live through how to live in your abundance or from your abundance. And there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think there's four spheres altogether that are blue. One's half red, half blue. And the one at the top, your life's work, is also your brand. So that's why it's half green and half blue. That's because it's part of your Pearl sequence as well.
Yeah, there's so much to it, eh?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, the general thing is, you never unpack these things in order, in chronological order anyway. But the golden path is basically, if you start at the top, follow the lines, the lines where they go. That's the general path It's the general path of awareness that you'll go through as you work through these things.
Right.
You know, as life gives you the opportunities to process them one after another, and a lot of
Yeah.
them concurrently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even the process you go through is very unique to you, and is very experimental, very exploratory. You know, that's why it's so much fun
Yeah,
to
it's
explore them
fascinating.
in a group like this, right? Is because
Mm-hmm.
thing is you can reflect meanings at each other, you know, different meanings you have from your own perspective, and you put
Yeah.
all those perspectives and those various meanings on the table, and those meanings end up kind of blossoming into really
Yeah,
deep
and
stuff
usually
for you.
like it's because usually like the people that have those, those numbers, and then like I worked through this, I know how it's done or whatever, right? So like you can help them moving through, right? Like by
Yep.
sharing a different perspective on it.
Yep.
Right. So,
Yep.
but the people that it's their mission, they might not be aware of like how am I gonna be doing this? Like I'm not even aware. I'm not even I'm at the shadow, right? So
Yeah.
right. And
Well,
it's
the
to
thing
be
is,
gentle with yourself, right? It's not like
yeah,
right or wrong where you at,
you're not necessarily only in the shadow either. You're probably in the
No.
middle of the experience of all three at the same time.
Yeah, could
You
be.
know, and
Could be.
you know, you're at a number of different places on that spectrum.
But most likely when you explore it as a group, like there's some people that have been through this,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they can give you like, well, that was my experience.
Yeah.
When you pass this is what might happen. So
Yeah. Sometimes I'll read something before it's actually come into my experience, and that's interesting. But a lot of times too, after I've been through an experience, I'll read something and I'll go, oh, well, that's what that was. Because I knew that something was going on, but I didn't realize what energies it was tied to, or whether it was low frequency, high frequency, middle frequency. I didn't really realize those kind of things. And then you read it and you go, oh, yep, that rings a bell.
Yeah. No, it's a fun way to learn about yourself. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Because it's a real self-awareness exercise. All of that stuff is.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna head off now. I'm gonna go and eat and stuff. But it's been nice to talk to you both.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and send me your chart on Messenger, Ian.
Yeah, I sent it. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Yep.
Yeah, and what you
take
have
care.
to do, like Ian, is like just take a snapshot or a screenshot of it, because like when you try to share, you won't be able to open it,
Oh, okay,
because
thank
that's
you.
what happened. That's what happened with me and Craig. So just take a screenshot of your whole profile, and then you'll be able to assist you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll talk soon.
Have
Take
a
care.
wonderful day. Yeah, for
You
sure.
too.
You too.
You too.
Bye, Ian.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, Ian. Thanks. Good day, man.
Fun time.
Oh wow, it's after 8 already.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so I'm
Wow.
complete.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. Let's next time, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Big love, everybody.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.